My name is Blake Stell,
How old are you, Blake?
29 years old.
Awesome.
My name is Theresa Hunt, and I'm 24 years old.
Hello, I am Daniel Aliaga, and I am 29 years old.
Looking beautiful, son. Looking beautiful.
Thanks.
So, in the spring of 2004, I almost lost my life. You see, I'm an alcoholic, and after a late night of drinking, I chose to get behind the wheel of my 2001 Mitsubishi Spider, and in inclement weather, lost control and ran into a wall. The accident almost cost me and my passenger our lives, and the events afterward would send me to rehab probably about 3 months later. Trying to kind of just put the pieces back together. Drinking and driving is something that affects everybody. And as college students, every college student should be presented with the decision of whether or not to drink or drive. It's something that pervades our entire nation, and the statistics will support it. Now, I'm sure we've all heard the excuses of why we can't get a driver, but maybe there's a better way. So, today we're going to talk about what the problem is, and we're going to talk about maybe what a solution to that problem is. So, let's talk about what's at stake, right? A recent number looked up on stopcollegedrinking.gov showed that nearly 3 million college students a year get behind the wheel intoxicated. That's almost the entire population of Houston. Imagine that. 3 million of the Houston drivers on the road drunk. Is that horrifying? To make matters worse, nearly 2,000 college students a year lose their lives as a result of drinking. So I'm sure the family members would have wished they would have had an easy-to-use alternative that would have provided them a way home instead of making such a senseless choice. Now we can all sit on our high horse and say, I never make that choice, but guess what? Everyday people like you and me make it every day because we're already impaired and we don't have the ability to make a good choice. But with a little bit of technology and a little bit of forethought, you can prevent this. So let's talk about the solution. It can be downloaded on your smartphone, right? I'm sure everybody here has a smartphone, right? It's an easy-to-use application available on Android and iOS applications, and it's called Uber. Uber is a wonderful application that allows you to match up drivers with people in need of a ride. Now, this is not a taxi service, right? What are the problems with a taxi service? It takes a really long time. You're never quite sure about the driver. The car smells weird, whatever the case may be. And when you're already impaired, do you want to worry about a driver being able to find you? No. Well, there's a better way. And like I said, it's Uber. So let's open up the application here. I've got it opened up. And it immediately locates where you are using GPS. Wonderful thing about technology. Now, as you can see, we have a pin located about where I am. And it also is going to give you an estimation of how long the nearest ride is from you. And once you choose to set that location, it will show you a picture of all the drivers, as you can see here, that are available to you in your surrounding area. Now, once you request a driver, the driver comes and finds you. Names are exchanged, because you don't want some strange, creepy person picking you up. And then services are rendered. Few people interviewed, Theresa Hunt specifically interviewed about this particular application, noted that the drivers were extremely courteous, the cars were extremely clean, and she felt safe the entire time. All things probably pretty important in this kind of interaction. So, once the services are rendered, your credit card, because it was set up beforehand, is charged, and no money ever has to exchange hands, so you don't have to worry about getting robbed, right? So, once services are rendered, the driver and the passenger are then prompted to rate each other. Hey, how did we do? It's a pretty simple thing, but drivers who are continually rated bad are immediately banned from providing services to passengers looking for a ride. But don't think passengers are off the hook either. Passengers who are rated poorly won't be picked up by drivers and can no longer use the services. So guess what? Don't be a bad person. So, I think back at this, and what makes it really incredible is that the fact it costs about a quarter less in most cases than your normal taxi ride. So not only is it faster because the drivers are already in your area, It will also save you time and money, and that's a pretty good deal for college students, because I know finals can probably give you a pretty big headache. So, today we've kind of talked about what problem we're trying to deal with, and that's drunk driving, right? And I know all of you sitting here today will have to deal with that decision in the near future, or, hopefully you don't, but if you do, use an application like Uber. Don't turn out like me and end up in rehab at 21, because that's what could happen. And I'm sure the family members of the 2,000 students that died last year, not even to mention the people who are out of college, would probably say the same thing. So Uber, application that'll match a driver with a passenger. Oh, and one last thing. Even if you're not drunk, you can get a ride anywhere anyways. It's just a good service. So, that's what.